Howdy, and welcome to episode 58 of T-Shirts and Shawls. I'm Karen, and today is Thursday, August 16th, 2018. And I have missed you guys so much! Thank you for being patient with me while I took a little bit of a break from recording the podcast over the summer with Luke being home. Things were just really crazy, and it never really felt like a good time to sit down and record and then do all of the editing and everything else. So thank you for waiting for Luke to get back to school and for me to get back into the swing of things. Luke's first day of school was yesterday, and I've got to say, I got more done yesterday than I did in a typical week over the summer. Just having that dedicated time to work really is very valuable. So I've kind of been trying to keep track of what I want to share with you guys since it has been so long, but I think that if I shared everything, this would probably be a 3-4 hour episode, so I don't want to do that. I do want to keep it, close to about the hour, like I usually do. So, in the words of Inigo Montoya, there is too much. Let me sum up. And I wore my Princess Bride t-shirt today to kind of go along with that. I think it was either the first or second episode that I wore this shirt. So I just thought, it's kind of a fresh start with the new school year after taking a little bit of a break. So kind of almost not really circle back to the beginning, but go back and revisit a t-shirt that kind of started it off. And kind of along with that refresh, that revamping, I think I'm gonna kind of refresh some of the little graphics, the cards that I put in between the sections of the episode. Just give them a little bit of a freshening as well. I always think of the start of the school year as the start of the year, kind of the fresh start. Probably because I spent so many years in school with graduate school and then teaching. So the school year feels more like the actual, year, rather than kind of the calendar January to December year. So I am excited to be back, excited that I have time to do stuff, and we will go ahead and get started. So one of the big things that I have been working on is participating in Tour de Sock. So Tour de Sock is a competition and fundraiser and really a crazy event. So the idea is that you pay $10 and to participate, and that money goes toward Doctors Without Borders. So there's the fundraiser part. And after you pay that money, then you have access to 6 sock patterns that will be taking place over the competition. And then we also got a warm-up pattern, so technically we got 7 sock patterns for $10. Then there are 6 stages, so the warm-up is not part of the competition. Just the 6 main patterns. There are 6 stages, and there are time periods for each stage, and the pattern drops at the beginning of that stage, and it's generally like 9 or 10 days, really it seems like more closer to 9, to complete that pair of socks. And there are minimum requirements and whatnot to go through to be able to have the socks count as competition socks. So, this started in July. I can't remember the exact date in July, but one of our local DFW people decided she wanted to get together a team and actually had enough people interested to form 2 teams. Teams have 7 people. And then so we kind of divided ourselves among those who felt like we were going to be a little more competitive and those who felt like maybe they would take it easy and kind of cheerlead us along. And somehow I decided to join the competitive team. And I thought, this will be great. I will, I'll do my best. I'll try to make these socks really quickly and get points for my team. And maybe we won't win, but maybe we'll do really well. So the first pattern drops, and I'll show you all the socks in just a minute. The first pattern drops, and I get started on it right away. And I think it was like 10, 11, 12 hours later, the first person finished their pair. I hadn't even gotten to the heel of my sock. I was still on the leg. It was a cuff down sock. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, someone has already finished, and then someone else finished, and someone else finished. And that was my first taste of, wow, this competition is crazy. And it restructured my thinking that, okay, so yes, I'd like to finish these socks, and yes, I would like to get points for my team, but I can't do that. I can't finish a pair of socks in 10 to 12 hours. That's just, even if I sat down for 12 hours and knit socks, I honestly don't know that I could finish a pair, especially because these are patterned socks, not just kind of the plain stockinette socks that I've been knitting for a long time. So I still, kind of tried to do what I could to get finished. I wanted, my goal at that point became just to finish within the stage, and maybe, it did look like it was going to be really hard to get those top spots and the top points. So with that in mind, I did finish the first pair of socks. So I should have grabbed some sock blockers since these are patterned, and I also didn't turn on my light that I usually use for recording because it's all packed away and I just haven't gotten it out yet. So I'm sorry that this is a little dark. So there is a pattern on this. It is lace and knits and pearls. You can kind of see some of the lace in there. And they said that this would be good with a really crazy variegated yarn. And the yarn is nice. It is from Savvy Skeins. The yarn is nice, the pattern was nice. However, I really feel like these didn't work as well together. I like them as socks, but I feel like the pattern itself gets lost. If you can't see the pattern, it's not actually because of the lighting. It really is kind of lost within the yarn. But I did finish these on time. I think I was like finisher number 376 or, something crazy like that. Like I said, people are super, it's still, Tour de Sock is still going on, so people are super speedy with this. But I finished within the time frame of that stage, and I have a nice pair of socks that fit me really well, and that overall I'm happy with, even if the patterning gets lost a little bit in the yarn. So then stage 2 dropped. Oh, and also the nice thing that I like about Tour de Sock is that it's kind of getting me out of my sock rut. I really have just been using self-striping yarn and plain vanilla socks, and that's all I've been doing for a couple of years now. It's been a while since I've done a patterned sock. So each sock that I've been working on has taught me something new. So this one, I learned a new cuff. So this was a Latvian twist, kind of decorative cuff. And I made a tutorial video for it and sent it out to my newsletter. So if you are subscribed to my newsletter, then you got that tutorial video. So that is something that I learned on this sock. And then it also has this interesting construction. So usually for a gusset, you have the stitches on the side that are decreased. But this one, the gusset stitches are decreased on the bottom. I don't know if you can see the V that's coming in for those decreases. So that's the bottom of the sock, and those decreases are on the bottom rather than the sides. So that was an interesting new construction that I learned with this pair of socks. So that was fun. So the second pair dropped, and it is full of cables and twisted stitches. Look at that, you guys. And then the leg also has it on the back. So yeah, cables, twisted stitches, oh my goodness. Just, kind of I love cables and twisted stitches, but wow, trying to do those quickly was not happening. And this yarn is from Amanda Hope Yarn, and it is a BFL, Blue Face Luster, which I've wanted to knit socks out of BFL for a while, so I did this. I didn't really pay super attention to gauge. I just used my normal size needles that I use for socks. I used the normal number of stitches that I cast on. I picked the size, I think this is the medium. I picked the size that hit my normal number of cast on stitches. I knew that the cables would probably make things a little tight, but I had no idea how tight it would be. If you can't tell, these socks are a little on the small side. I can technically get them on my feet. I don't have huge feet. I wear a size 6 shoe. I can technically get these on my feet, but they do look stretched out, especially the part right over the top of my heel. So they look stretched out, and they really don't look like they fit. These fit Luke, my 6, almost 7-year-old son, perfectly. So Luke got some green socks. Of course, he likes them. He thinks they're nice, but his first question was, now can you make me some in red? Red is his favorite color. Anyway, so that is, again, I completed these on time. Not super speedy. I think I was in the lower 300s this time in the finishers. And again, this had that gusset decreases on the bottom of the sock. You can probably see those a little bit better with this yarn. And yeah, I definitely learned about making sure you don't just do what you always do, that you need to really consider how tight those cables are going to be pulling in the stitches. And I probably should have either gone up a needle size or knit the next size up to make socks that fit me. But hey, Luke's got some socks. So I finished that one. Then stage 3 drops, and it is more cables and twisted stitches. And I'm thinking, I love cables and twisted stitches, but 2 back-to-back socks that have them, that is a little much. And this one also had beads. I will just say, I love these socks. They are gorgeous and they fit me. So that is good news. But I mean, just look at the beads, the cables, the twisted stitches, and then the back side is a different pattern. So there's the back side. A different pattern in between the cable is a seed stitch. So these were definitely a very laborious task. And I do have 2. I did complete the pair. And on this one, it was a different heel construction. I am blanking right now. The pattern did not have the name of the heel construction on it. I think it's the Flegel heel. I think that's what people said it was. So I'd never done that heel construction before, and so that is what I learned with this sock. And basically on that, you do the increases for the gusset first, and then you do the heel flap. So it's even though it's a cuff down sock, instead of doing the heel flap and then the gusset, you do it the other way around. I think that's a Flegel heel. I didn't look it up to be absolutely 100% sure. But anyway, these socks are gorgeous. But I really, really worked my fingers to the bone to get these done in time. Again, I did finish them before the end of the stage, and I was somewhere in the 200s for the finishers on that one. So I think there were people that this one gave more trouble to. There was one weekend where I just pretty much Saturday and Sunday just knit on these almost the entire weekend. And that is how I was able to get them done in time. By the way, this means that I have gotten very little done on other knitting projects, although I do have a what I'm knitting section because I did get a little bit done. But yeah, this is what I've pretty much been working on since I last talked to you guys. Then stage 4 dropped, and that's the stage we're currently in. And we do get a supplies list, so we don't know. Like at the very beginning of the competition, we just get a list of these are the 6 socks and the yarn that you need. We get like the amount of yarn, the gauge, and advice on colors. So, and then the a little bit before that stage starts, we get told which sock the next stage is, so we can kind of get our yarn ready. So this one was one that had 2 colors of yarn, and it did say that they should be contrasting, and so I was pretty sure it was going to be a stranded colorwork sock. And if you've been watching the podcast for a while, you know stranded colorwork is just not my jam. It's pretty, I like it, I just don't really enjoy working on it. I wish that I did more, but it's just not the thing that I really love doing. So So I knew that this sock was going to be a little bit of an issue. And then the pattern dropped, and yes, it was stranded color work, and it's also toe up, which I have done toe up socks before, but it has been a long time, and I think I've only done like 2 or 3. So I've done Judy's Magic Cast On before, but I had to look it up to remind myself how to do it. And fortunately, I was able to get it done just fine. So there's the toe of the sock. And then I started the stranded color work. And I thought it would be really cool to have a variegated yarn for my contrasting color. But the contrast in the 2 yarns is not always really high. So some of it, the patterning isn't really showing up as much as I would like. And again, with the lighting in here, you probably aren't going to be able to see this very much. These are supposed to be snowflakes. So I think this is like a really big snowflake, and it carries on to the back side. The front and the back are different. And here's another large snowflake. So maybe you can see that these are snowflakes. I don't know. I do like the way it looks. It just doesn't, it's not apparent right away that what this design actually is, which, since I'm not a huge snowflake fan, I'm kind of okay with. So I had posted on Instagram about these, saying, what do you guys think? Should I keep going or change colors? And most of the comments were to keep going. So I did. But you guys, this sock is due on Monday morning. This is the first sock. This weekend, I have a trunk show, so I will be doing that all weekend. I will not, oh my gosh, Wally just jumped down. Ouch. He was up on the ledge. I did not realize he would jump down. I guess he wanted to make a dramatic appearance. So here's Wally. Frame of mind. Okay, trunk show. I'll be doing that all weekend, so I'm not going to have a dedicated weekend to finishing these socks. And I gotta admit, there is no way between now and Monday morning I am going to have enough knitting time to knit these, even if these were socks that were more in my wheelhouse. It just wouldn't happen. So I'm not giving up on the socks. I will finish the socks at some point. It just, to be honest, it is not going to happen within the time frame of stage 4. So I'm basically going to kind of just be working on those slowly. And when stage 5 starts, I will start the stage 5 socks, and stage 4 will just be one that I unfortunately will not finish. But I've made peace with that, and I'm okay with it, and I will finish the socks eventually. So stage 5 drops Monday morning. That is a single color one. I'm really hoping for a lace pattern. That would be great. And then stage 6 is another that has 2 colors, so I don't know if it'll be stranded color work or some other type of 2 color. We shall see. And I think the final day of the competition is I know it's in September. I think it's actually my birthday, September 13th. I haven't looked at the date yet. But basically, so between now and that final date, I'll still be focusing on Tour de Sock. And trying to finish up those last 2 stages. So that is mostly what I've been knitting, but I have been working on some other stuff, so I will show you guys that next. So like I said, I've mostly been focusing on Tour de Sock, so I don't have a lot of other projects that I have been working on, but I do have a little bit. So although I haven't worked on this a lot recently, I do have more progress from when I last showed you guys, since it's been a while, on my Frostbrite shawl. So this is one that uses mini skeins, and then the main color. I am on the, I think it's the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th color, which is how many colors the pattern is written for. And then after you do the 5th color, you go back and repeat the colors again. So I am not quite at the halfway point, so you can tell this is going to definitely be a very long wrap, which will be great. So after this one, I will be at the halfway point, and then I'll repeat the colors. And yeah, so this is a fun pattern with the lace panels and the garter stitch kind of exchange of colors in between. But I have not put much work into that in the last couple of weeks, so hopefully I will be able to get back to that soon. I do have my, plain vanilla self-striping sock on the needles, and so I had been kind of putting that aside and haven't been working too much on it, but once I realized that I wasn't going to be able to finish the stage 4 sock, I decided to work a little bit on this. And so the first sock was finished quite a while back. This is Brazen Stitchery in the Molly colorway. And I have completed the heel turn, and I just finished the gusset decreases actually this morning. That was my morning coffee and knitting time. So I finished the gusset decreases. So I just have the foot and toe, which always seems to be the faster part of my sock knitting. So that is definitely getting there. The sad thing is I brought these to knit night to work on Monday, and I knew they had been on my needles for quite a while, but I didn't realize how long. So I looked it up on Ravelry. I started these socks back in January. I kind of feel embarrassed that they have been on the needles for that long. So that's kind of also pushing me to get these done. Plus they're just really pretty, and I want to wear them this fall. So definitely want to get those socks off the needles, and now I'm at the point where they should kind of speed on through. And then my other project is my stargazing shawl. So this is the Panorama Fiber Arts in that gorgeous blue to black. So you can see I'm really getting to the dark part now. Gradient, the Anna Victoria pattern with all of the beads, and I do have a couple of different colors of beads in there. I am 4 rows away from the end, but each row now is 400 and something stitches, so it takes almost an hour to do each row. So what I've been doing is the past week I've been kind of doing 1 row a night. So kind of taking a good hour chunk and doing a row, and so I've been making actually some progress lately. And it's all bunched up on the needles, so you cannot see the gorgeousness of this quite yet. I am looking forward to getting this off the needles and blocked and seeing it in all its glory. I'm really looking forward to that. So that is almost done. I do have a couple of other projects that are my works in progress that have not really been in progress. I still have the sleeves to put on of my Let Go cardigan. I have not done that. But I think that once I finish the stargazing shawl, I will kind of focus a little bit more on the cardigan because I do want to wear it this fall, so I need to finish it soon. And then I also haven't even started. I've got it picked out and I've got the yarn picked out, but I haven't even started my Q3 shawl for the podcast. So I do want to also get that started. It is a DK weight shawl, so I'm hoping that it will go faster and I will be able to finish it before the end of the quarter, which I'll talk about the quarterly knit along in a little bit. Then the other thing that I have on the needles is my boxy, which I am still in the round and round and round stockinette portion. And I actually worked on that a little bit yesterday. So because of something that we have going on 3 days a week after school, I am actually picking Luke up in the car instead of walking, because it's a half a mile walk to the school, and so it does take quite a while, and especially when it's hot. Once I get home, it's like, I just want to lay under the fan and cool off. But we can't do that because we have something to go to. So I decided he's going to be a car rider this year. The first day of school pickup yesterday was crazy. I knew it was going to be crazy, but it was absolutely crazy. Fortunately, I had planned for it, and I brought Boxy along because I knew that I'm just knitting stockinette in the round, and I can start and stop wherever. I don't have to get to the end of a round or a row. There's no pattern. So I brought it with me, and I actually got 3 or 4 rounds knit of that, and there are 390, I think, stitches on that. If that tells you how long I was in that pickup line for school. It will get better, as people kind of learn the process. and whatnot. So anyway, I think that right now is going to be my my pickup knitting. And I will probably have some easy project like that on the needles if I am going to be sitting in the car, because I don't want to just sit there and do nothing, and B, can't look at my cell phone because it is actually illegal in the school zone. So so I think knitting is a good option, because it really is just kind of sitting, and then every so often you get to move forward just a little bit and then you sit. So I am still being safe. So those are projects. And then I have a presentation that I'm going to be giving for the Dallas Knitting Guild in September, the first Tuesday of September. So that is fast coming up. And I'm talking all about yarn, looking at the structure of yarn. So the number of plies, the twist, how tight the twist is, and also a little bit about fiber content. So as part of that presentation, I'm going to have a bunch of swatches that I will be passing around. So I have been knitting swatches. So these are the ones, and I've actually got a couple more done that need to get on this stack. These are the ones that are done so far. Some of them still need to be blocked. As you can see, that one's still curling up quite a bit. Some I'm doing just garter and stockinette. So that way some of the differences in yarn constructions can be apparent. Some of them I am doing lace, so people can see, you know, this is a single ply versus a 2-ply. How does it work in lace? And then I also plan to have a few swatches that are cables. So I definitely need to get busy on those, because that talk is coming up in just a few weeks. So if you are in the Dallas area, it's the Dallas Hand Knitters Guild. They have a website. You can look up the information. I believe it is September 4th. It is the first Tuesday of September. So I will be doing that presentation. So that is what I have been knitting since I talked to you guys last. So I didn't make a list of what I have been stashing since I last talked to you guys. So there may be a couple of things that I've missed, and I'm sorry if I did miss a few things, but I did get some bags and some yarn that I wanted to show you guys. So I have shown you some bags that I've gotten before from Fate's Thread. She has an Etsy shop. And I gotta say, guys, Instagram totally works. I follow her on Instagram. She posts various bags, and sometimes I see them and I think, oh, that's pretty, but I don't need another bag. But then she posted this one and said, I only have one of these. It's in the shop. I loved it. The fact that she only had one, I had to go over there right away and go buy that bag. So it's a Harry Potter stained glass fabric. And just look at that fabric. Isn't that awesome? So I had to have this bag. And it's a good size bag. I have 2 skeins of yarn in here. Actually, this is the one that I'm doing a whole bunch of swatches on, so I have lots of yarn in here. The drawstrings, just like her other bags, I really like that she uses this thicker, almost kind of shoelace type of drawstring. So I feel like it really keeps the bag secure, which is important with the cats, although the drawstrings themselves are a little bit of a temptation. But I do feel like it keeps the bag pretty securely closed. So yeah, I love this bag and so glad that I was able to grab that. But I also kind of have a little love-hate relationship with her feed on Instagram right now, because I love it. I love seeing what she's doing, but oh man, it's making me buy the things. And now I have so many project bags, but I got more because Erin Lane put out a pre-order for some Hamilton bags. And I don't know if she is doing these again. So I posted these on Instagram when I got them, and several people said, oh my gosh, I have to have those bags. And I don't know if Lindsay of Erin Lane is going to make these bags again. So if she is, fantastic. If she's not, I apologize for showing these to you and possibly getting you excited about it. But So there were different options, different color options, different quotes and pictures. So this one, and all of these bags are in use right now, so they've got stuff in them. So this one says, "Just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry," which, if you are familiar with Hamilton, that is a line from one of the songs. And then you've got the little sheep on the Hamilton star. Fabulous. Love that. And then the other option was, "I'm not throwing away my shot," which is basically the follow-up line of the other one. So at first I thought, well, maybe I'll just get one, but then I couldn't decide, so I got both. Really horrible on trying to not buy too many bags, but apparently I couldn't resist. So then, speaking of things I couldn't resist, after I finished that stage 3 sock of the tortoise sock, that's the purple one that had the beads and all of those twisted stitch cables, I felt this really great sense of accomplishment. Like, wow, I can't believe that I did this in the time period. It was just under 10 days. I feel really fabulous. And I got an email from Mustache Yarns saying, "Hey, we've got new yarns in stock. Check out what we've got on the website." And in that moment of, I feel like I've accomplished something, and excitement at seeing yarns from Mustache, I bought 2 more skeins of Mustache self-striping. I had several kind of open, and I made myself only get 2. And on labels for a while, she had pictures of the socks worked up so you could see the stripes, which I thought was really brilliant. But neither of these have that, so unfortunately I can just show you the skeins and not the what the stripes will look like. But this one is Woodstock, and I really liked it because it had a lot of different colors, and they're brightish colors, but they're also a little like muted bright, if that makes sense. And I just really liked the way the colors worked together in the order that she had the stripes. So that one I definitely bought on color. And this one I bought both on color and on the name. So this one is Unicorn Apocalypse. So it's got these really bright purples, which in the worked up sock, the purples seem to stand out a little bit more, but it doesn't really seem to show as much in the skein. But you can see it's got these great purples and then bright other colors. So yeah, this one I really liked the way the sock looked, and then the name Unicorn Apocalypse was just too good. So I had to get that. So that is yarn that I have stashed recently. And like I said, I think there might be 1 or 2 other things, but I can't remember for sure, and I did not set them aside. So I'm sorry if I did get some things that I've forgotten about. Oh, actually I did, because I went to the picnic for the yarn crawl and Buffalo Wool was there, and I got 2 things there. I got 2 things of Socks That Rock from Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and right now I don't remember where I put those. One of them is has some sparkle in it, lurex, so it's actually spun into the fiber. It's really pretty. And the other one is a more variegated one with mainly purple, but kind of going into some grays. And I don't remember right now where I put those, so I can't grab them to show them to you. But if you're super interested, I do have them in my stash on Ravelry, so you can always go over to Ravelry and take a look at what I've stashed. I still need to add these guys to my Ravelry stash. I guess I will try to do that today. So yeah, that is what I have been adding to the stash. For the past 2 years, or I guess this is the 3rd year, I have teamed up with Tim Stevens and Elisa of the Knitting Fairy, and we put together a kit to raise money for the DFW chapter of the National Hemophilia Foundation, which so they do a walk and then, you know, collect donations for it. And the name of the walk this year changed to Unite for Bleeding Disorders. So that way it would cover not just hemophilia, but any other bleeding disorders, which the foundation did anyway. It just wasn't in the name of it. So they've kind of changed the name, but it's still the same organization that we've been working on the past 2 years. So the past 2 years, I did the yarn and Elisa did the pattern, and then she sold them at her shop, and then I also sold them online. Apparently Wally wants to come say hi again. And this year, Tim actually designed a pattern, and he's got a couple of patterns on Ravelry now. He is, because he is a chemistry professor, he actually is, his name of his design company, I guess, is Periodic Knits. So that's really fun. And so if you like kind of geeky and kind of the science realm, although he also has a really fun Disney related pattern, definitely check out his stuff. But he had designed a pattern called We Knit in Texas, y'all. It is a cowl pattern that has a ribbed structure, and the ribbing is based on the phrase "We knit in Texas, y'all," converted into binary. So zeros and ones, knits and purls. Isn't that just a really, really awesome idea? So this is the cowl, and I don't actually remember where it starts. So, where it would actually say like the "we" in the knit in Texas, y'all. But in binary, all the way around, this says "We knit in Texas, y'all." Super fun, quick knit. Wally really wants to make a close-up appearance. Quick knit, and we decided this would be the fundraiser for this year. So because it is We Knit in Texas, y'all, we decided that we would offer options for kits. So you can have it in red, or white, or blue. So I knit the blue one, so that is something else that I knit. And then we had two sample knitters, Elizabeth and Lindsay, knit the red and white. So that way we could have examples of all three colors. And the kits went live yesterday. So in the kit, you will get a coupon code for the pattern, so you can get the PDF from Ravelry and add it to your Ravelry library. And then you will get one skein of yarn. It is a worsted weight yarn, and it is a new base that I'm kind of trying out to see if I want to move away from Lancelot and move to this new base. So this new base, I am calling it Gareth. Gareth is a knight who really looked up to Lancelot. Lancelot was his role model, so I thought this was kind of an appropriate name to go with the potential, I don't want to say replacement, but kind of replacement for Lancelot. Anyway, so that is this new base. It is 100% superwash merino, 218 yards. It does seem to have a slightly tighter twist than Lancelot, or maybe it's more compacted. Like Lancelot feels more airy, and this one feels a little less airy. So it does have a different feel from Lancelot, but it's still really nice. It's a good smooth yarn. It makes the stitch definition pop really nicely with the knits and purls. So it's a good yarn, and this is kind of the way I'm introducing the yarn to see what you guys think about it. So the kits went live yesterday, and before I went to bed yesterday, we had already sold 12 kits, and then overnight another 4 got sold, so 16 have been sold. And $17 from each kit goes toward the Hemophilia Foundation. And if I remember, I did the math, I think that's $284 that we have raised so far with kit purchases in less than 24 hours. So that is so awesome. And if you were someone who purchased a kit, thank you very, very much. We will be selling the kits through October, basically. The walk is toward the end of October, so kits will be available from now until then. And then I have several skeins dyed, so I grabbed a red and a blue. I need to label the white ones. I have several skeins dyed that I will be bringing to my trunk show this weekend. So depending on when you watch this, the DFW yarn crawl is actually starting tomorrow, August, make sure I get the dates right, August 17th. So Friday, August 17th, 2018, the DFW yarn crawl kicks off. I will be at Fleece Boutique, which is in Dallas, on Saturday and Sunday, so August 18th and 19th. And I will have kits ready to go for this fundraiser for my trunk show. And then everyone who has been buying online, I've been dyeing yarn kind of as people buy it online, so that way I can make sure to have kits in person this coming weekend. So I'm really excited by the response. So we're already people that haven't bought a kit yet, but who said they were planning on it this weekend. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how much money we raise. Tim said that basically last year his team raised $1,500, and that was enough money to send 2 boys to a special camp for boys who have hemophilia, so they can have lots of activities that are camp-like activities, but also safe for them. And they get to basically they get to experience camp life, but also with other kids who are like them, and also have hemophilia. So last year, 2 boys got sent to camp because of the money his team raised. This year, what they're hoping to do is raise $1,800, which will send 1 family to this special kind of conference that helps families, especially new families, but all families who have a child with hemophilia or another bleeding disorder, kind of figure out how to just function from day to day. And especially those with new children. It also talks about medical advances that are happening. Apparently, there are some medical advances that are going on with hemophilia B, which is the type of hemophilia that Tim's stepson has. And so he said that last year they actually learned at this conference, they learned about some of those medical advances. And so if we get up to $1,800, then they will be able to send an entire family to this conference. So that would be really, really awesome. And we are already, like I said, $284 just in less than 24 hours. We are already kind of on our way toward that. So really excited about this fundraiser. And the website, the Round Table Yarns website, you can pre-order the yarn there. And like I said, $17. The kit is $26, so $17 goes toward the fundraiser. So again, thank you so much if you've already bought a kit. And if you do want one, they are currently available as long as you're watching this before the end of October 2018. And then if you don't want the kit, if you just want to donate directly, I do have a link to their team. They are Team Awesome Sauce on the Unite for Bleeding Disorders Walk website, so you can make a direct donation if you want to do that. If you don't want the yarn, you can also just buy the pattern. It is available on Ravelry, and Tim is donating all the proceeds of the pattern sales as well. So really excited about this, really excited about the enthusiasm, and I mean, just we knit in Texas, y'all, in binary. How cool is that? For Roundtable Yarns news, I already mentioned that the yarn crawl starts tomorrow, and I have a trunk show Saturday and Sunday, so August 18th and 19th. Make sure, yes, 18th and 19th at Fleece, which is a yarn shop in Dallas. So I will be there. The hours that Fleece is open, I believe on Saturday it's 10 to 5 and Sunday is 1 to 5, but double check the website to be absolutely sure. So I will be there during those times, bringing all my yarn, and I hope to see those of you who are local there. And then otherwise, I'm going to be on the yarn crawl, so I'll get to share that with you guys as well the next time. But anyway, so for Roundtable Yarn news, I do have a couple of other local shops that have ordered my yarn, and they currently have it in stock. So in Fort Worth, there is a shop called West 7th Wool, and they have a little bit of the non-self-striping Merlin. I don't wholesale the self-striping because that is just a little too much work to sell at wholesale. So the semi-solids and tonals on Merlin, so that is the merino nylon sock fingering weight yarn. And so they've got that. And then the Fiber Lady, which is kind of a shop slash, I guess, manufacturer. That makes it sound like super big, but it's a small business. They basically spin yarn, and they focus mostly on bamboo. But they've been expanding the shop, the front portion of the business, and wanted to get some yarns in that were from other, especially local dyers, and so they contacted me and placed an order for Camelot. So that is my fingering weight merino cashmere nylon. And they got a good selection of Camelot, and I took that in last week, so they have that, because they definitely wanted to have it in time for the crawl. And apparently, like 15 minutes after I left, someone came in and bought an entire colorway, so 4 skeins of Camelot. So they hadn't even like put it out yet. It was still on the table from where I had dropped it off, and somebody already bought some, but they should still have some Camelot left. So if you are local, and especially if you're doing the yarn crawl, make sure to check out those 2 shops, as well as my trunk show at Fleece. And those are the local places that you will find Roundtable yarns. I'm really excited about that. I did have a yarn shop in another state contact me. Apparently somebody, I don't know who, had been vacationing there and went to the yarn shop and mentioned my yarn, and she did contact me to ask about my wholesale policies and pricing. And I did send her all the information, but I haven't heard back. So I need to follow up with that. I don't know if that will actually come through. But it's really exciting, and again, I have no idea who did that. If that is one of you guys who's watching, who mentioned my yarn to a shop in Colorado, thank you. That's really awesome. But that also reminds me, if you are, especially if you're not in the DFW area, and you would like to see my yarn in your local yarn shop, go talk to your local yarn shop owner. Let them know that I am accepting wholesale accounts, and that I would be happy to give them information about that. So you can send them to my website, and there is a contact form that they can fill out and contact me. So it's exciting to get the yarn going out in different places. The website itself, has been a kind of a big change. If you are subscribed to my newsletter, then you got this information. But basically today, August 16th, is the last day of the Quest Points program. So that is that program where you earn points for every purchase that you make, and then you can redeem those future points for discounts. So I've got to be honest, I love the idea of the Quest Points program. And I was really excited about it, but although a lot of people have earned a lot of points, very, very few people have actually redeemed the points and gotten discounts. I've had the Quest Points program since it was before DFW, so definitely before April, but I don't remember how long before that. But in that time period, only like 24 codes had been actually used. Discount codes had been used, and they were kind of the same, like I think it was 7 or 8 people. So even though I had a lot more people that actually have accounts and have points, it was only about 7 or 8 people that used discount codes a couple of times. And I'm just going to be completely honest, from a business perspective, that the loyalty rewards program, all of the back end of doing that, it was $20 a month for that app, which, it's a business expense. I can write that off. and that's fine. I don't mind spending money on the business, but apparently there are different tiers of that loyalty rewards program, and that allowed me to have I can't remember how many orders per month. I think it was 50 orders per month that would be able to get the codes and everything. Well, what they do apparently is they do an averaging. So when I have big events like DFW Fiberfest or Houston Fiberfest, where there are a lot of orders kind of all at once and a lot of people earning points, that means that there are way more than 50 that are going on for that month, just even in that weekend. And so I got a notice that since my average was over 50, I had 2 more months if my average continued to be over 50, which based upon what I was starting with, unless I had like 0 sales, which I don't want to do, I was not going to get that average down. So based upon that average, I was going to have to go up to the next tier, and that was going to be $40 a month. So suddenly, this rewards program is doubling. I took a hard look at the numbers to see that although there were a few people that were definitely making use of it, it really was just a few people. And I thank you very much for doing that. It is something that I was happy to do and to provide. But when I start really balancing out the finances, going up to $40 a month for that just really doesn't seem feasible. If more people were using it, then that would be one thing, but it really is not being used very often. So I gave a warning to my newsletter list, I think back at the beginning of the month, and so today is actually the last day. And as a result, now I have a new offer. So my new offer is free shipping in the US. If you're in the US, you don't have to pay shipping anymore. And then also, if you are outside the US, if you have an order over $100, then you get free shipping. Unfortunately, international shipping is just ridiculous, and I can't afford to do free shipping on every order for international. But kind of looking at shipping rates, once someone orders something about $100 or more, that's where I start to not lose money on shipping. So the reason I did that is because I actually sent out a survey to my newsletter audience asking, would you prefer free shipping or the loyalty rewards program? And nearly 90% of responses said free shipping. So that is another reason why I decided to close the loyalty rewards and to offer the free shipping. So everything is an experiment. So, this could change in 6 months. We'll kind of see how it goes. But right now it seems to be going well. And the interesting part is that, I told people you need to, redeem your loyalty rewards points. It gives you a discount code for future use. The discount code has no expiration date. Your points are just going to expire at the end of the day today. And so there have been people who have redeemed the points and who have not yet used their discount codes. But for the most part, the people who have gone through and redeemed it and used their discount code have been the people who have been using the Quest Points, the loyalty rewards program, all along. So there are a couple of people who hadn't redeemed them before that did, but for the most part, it really still is that same core 6 or 7 people. So again, thank you guys for participating in that program. But it looks like even just saying the program is ending, use your points, didn't really even shake out that many more people. So I'm feeling better about closing the program and then offering the free shipping instead. So all of that is going on. And then I have one more exciting thing kind of that I'm going to be offering. If you are in the Yarn Club, the Night of the Lion Yarn Club, I just sent out packages yesterday. Those of you who are local to the DFW will most likely get them today, but some of you won't get them until tomorrow or Saturday. So this is the thing I'm about to show next is the goodie that is inside your Yarn Club package. So if you do not want to be spoiled, skip ahead to the end of this segment. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about in this segment. So just skip ahead until you see the card for the next segment, so that way you won't be spoiled. So spoiler warning, if you don't want to see your goodie, skip ahead. Okay, here it is. So I've been thinking about getting an enamel pin made of the Round Table Yarns logo, and I got several quotes from several pin companies. There are a lot of pin companies out there. So I got several quotes and got the mock-ups of what the pins would look like. And so I finally chose one and I ordered them. And they arrived on Monday. I was really hoping that I would have them in time for this Yarn Club shipment and then for the trunk show for Yarn Crawl. So the pins came in, and then I created a backing board so that way I would have something to put the pins on. And I'm just gonna say, you guys, I'm so excited with how these turned out. So here we go. Again, spoiler warning. Da-da-da! So there is the backing card. I've got the website URL up here, and then Merlin is, it looks like, hopefully you can see this, it looks like he's kind of holding the pin, and then the little tagline, your Yarn Quest destination. But here is the pin. I really liked this company because they did, instead of a straight edge, they did kind of a edge around the letters. It has just a black rubber backing there to hold it on. So there are the pins. This is a business card, so you can kind of see the size of the pin. I think it's 1.5 inches. I should measure that to make absolutely sure. Anyway, so these went out in the Yarn Club packages. So if you're in the Yarn Club, you are getting a pin. But if you're not in the Yarn Club and you would like a pin, I will be putting these on the website, and I will have them at my trunk show this weekend. So if you want a pin, they will be $10. So you can order them, and if you're ordering on the website, it's free shipping. So keep that in mind as well. But if you're in the Yarn Club, you're already going to be getting one. So I'm so excited with how they turned out, and I hope you guys like them too. Especially if you're an enamel pin collector, I hope you will add this to your collection. So yeah, that's excitement. So lots of things going on with Round Table Yarns. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting to talk about, but I think those are the big things. I know there's been so much more that I've been reading and watching, and I did not make a list. Bad Karen, I did not make a list, so I can't remember everything, but there are two things that stick out that I do want to talk about. So the first thing is that the Tour de socks, I mentioned that we get a materials list at the very beginning, and the socks, we aren't told the actual names of the socks, they have code names. And the code names for the 6 socks all came from characters from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So that was kind of fun, kind of talking about the socks and referring to them as the Hitchhiker socks. Unfortunately, that's not what they actually ended up being. That's not the actual inspiration. Although people were hoping, because for the beaded sock, it said we needed 84 beads, which would be 42 per sock. And if you are familiar with Hitchhiker, 42 is an important number. But it really, I guess, was just a coincidence. Or maybe that is what prompted them to use the Hitchhiker names as code names. I don't know. But anyway, they were just the code names. But that, along with the fact that next month is my birthday, and next month I will be the answer to life, the universe, and everything. That will be my age. And I've be honest, I've kind of been looking forward to saying that. So both the code names and then my upcoming birthday have kind of prompted me to revisit The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I say revisit, but really I should kind of say visit, because confession time, I had before about a month ago, I had not actually read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I know. Hopefully it doesn't destroy my geek cred. it is just something that it's always been on my, hey, I should read that someday list, but I haven't actually sat down to read it. I did see the movie that came out, not right when it came out, but maybe about a year after it came out. I did see the movie, but I hadn't actually read the book. So I sat down and I read the book, and I really enjoyed it. And I do plan to continue reading the other books. I just haven't gotten on with the next one yet. But what was really interesting about the book is that, so I'm reading it on my Kindle, so it tells you, how many hours you have left in the book. And I still had like over an hour of reading time left, and the book ended. And I was just like, wait a second, what's happening? What is in the rest of this book? Since I supposedly have more time to actually to be reading. So apparently it was an entire section. I guess the Kindle copy that I got happened to be the movie tie-in copy. So it was an entire section all about the creation of the movie. And from the very start of how difficult it was to get the movie actually made, to the casting, and there were interviews with several of the cast members, and with the screenwriter and everything. So it was a really fascinating read just to see exactly what it took to get this book made into a movie, and a lot of the struggles that it had. And unfortunately, Douglas Adams died before the movie was made, so he didn't ever get to see it into all of the work that he'd been trying to do to get the movie made. He did not get to see the results. But anyway, it was really, really fascinating. So if you are a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and you have not read that kind of the movie tie-in book that has that whole section and information, I really, really recommend that. And then it kind of got me interested in, maybe I should watch the movie again. So one evening my husband and I sat down and we watched the movie again. And just kind of knowing some of the, I guess, behind the scenes types of things that I'd read about, it was really, really interesting to watch, kind of multiple layers, both the story as well as the behind the scenes. So that is one thing that kind of stands out that I've been reading and watching. And the other thing, so the Netflix series Anne with an E, which is based off of Anne of Green Gables. I talked about season 1 back in, I don't even remember which episode, but whenever season 1 came out, I watched it and I talked about it, and I said that there were things that were really good about it, but also it was a really dark show. It turned the show into something very, very gritty, very not the lighthearted Anne that you kind of expect from the book and from the Megan Follows miniseries that I really, really love. So it was a very different feel, and there were some things that I felt really went away from the characters, that actions and decisions characters made that I thought were completely out of character, especially for Matthew. Anyway, so I'm not going to revisit the whole season 1 thing. I'm sorry, I don't remember which episode that was in, but you can search the show notes and if you want to hear about my thoughts on season 1. So season 2 came out this summer, and at first I thought, you know what, the way season 1 ended, which looked like a storyline that was nowhere to be found in the book, I really don't think that I want to watch season 2. But I have to admit that curiosity got the better of me, and I went ahead and watched season 2. So here are my thoughts. If you love Anne of Green Gables, and you want the book, and you want Anne of Green Gables, the book, again, this is nothing like the book. They went even further afield with completely different storylines and brand new characters that they added in, completely new storylines and characters that were nowhere to be found in the book. So if you are a purist, or if you really get bothered by things that are changed, then this is definitely not a show for you. There were some scenes that were almost straight out of the book. There is the hair dyeing scene where Anne, wants to dye her hair a beautiful raven black and completely messes it up and turns her hair green. And that scene is there. So, that was fun to see. But otherwise, it's almost unrecognizable. And in a way, that actually made season 2 better for me. Because it was so unrecognizable and so different, I was able to separate the book from this TV series, and I stopped thinking about it as this is supposed to be Anne of Green Gables, and I just started watching it for itself, and seeing what these particular characters, especially the new characters, happen to do. So once I was able to make that disconnect in my own head and not think this is supposed to be Anne of Green Gables, I actually enjoyed it a lot more. So if you're able to make that disconnect, I actually think season 2, just as a show itself, was really interesting. They did put a lot of modern themes and ideas and character types into the show, which I think in some ways were a little anachronistic, but they were interesting. The characters that they introduced, although they were definitely types, I think that they gave them enough roundness that they didn't feel like flat stereotypes. They really did feel like fully developed characters. And I did really enjoy that. But you could tell they were definitely trying to modernize the whole concept. I don't want to give away spoilers too much about what exactly happened, but definitely trying to modernize the story. But they did it in a way that I felt like the new characters they introduced, like I said, they made them round, they gave them stories and backgrounds, and I did enjoy getting to know the characters. So Anne of Green Gables, it is not. But as its own thing, I actually enjoyed season 2 better than season 1, just because it really was so very, very different, and I didn't always have that, wait, that's not really what's supposed to happen, in the back of my head, since it was so completely different. And again, there probably have been other things that I've read and watched. I did catch up on some of the Marvel universe movies. I'd been behind by a bit, so I finally caught up with Thor Ragnarok. What was the other one that I watched? Whatever the one after that is. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. And then I finally watched the latest Avengers one that has the again, I'm not going to give away spoilers. I will just say the ending that was very surprising and shocking. I finally got to see that. So I'm almost caught up. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp, I have not seen that. But I'm almost caught up with the Marvel Universe. And we took Luke to see Marvel Live, which is basically a stage show. That was his birthday present. His birthday is, 1 week from today, next Thursday. He will be 7. So that was his birthday present, going to take him to Marvel Live. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so cheesy. The fight scenes, the choreography, the hand motions that were very exact. I mean, I know it's a stage show and they need to exaggerate movements so people can see, but it was like over the top exaggerated. But Luke loved it. So watching his reaction to the show was actually a lot more fun than the show itself. I don't want to knock the show completely. I mean, it was interesting. But it was over the top. But Luke loved it, so it was perfect for him. And he really enjoyed going to see that. So I'm glad that we got to take him to that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've been reading or watching that I want to talk to you guys about. I will try to keep better notes as I move forward and get back into the rhythm of things. So that way I will remember what to tell you guys. So the Q3 knit along is still happening. I haven't been as active in the forums, and since the podcast hasn't been running, I think you guys haven't been as active in the forums. So I hope that that restarting the podcast will kind of push you guys to also talk more in the discussion threads. And to participate in the knit along, because this is the one where we are shining light on unappreciated projects, projects that have been around for a while, so 2016 or earlier, and have fewer than 20 projects in listed on Ravelry. So there is I'd completely forgotten to put the FO thread up, and somebody actually had a finished project, and I think actually somebody else had a finished project as well. And I realized there was no FO thread. So now there is an FO thread. I created one yesterday, so you can go post. And next time I will show you guys some pictures of the FOs that are in there. And there is, it is still in my closet. I forgot to grab it. There is a skein of yarn that is the giveaway prize. It is from a dyer called Toil and Trouble. It is a sport weight yarn. And I picked it because the yarn itself has fewer than 20 projects on Ravelry. It's a gorgeous yarn. But that particular base, a dyer and base, it has fewer than 20 projects. So I thought it really fit with the theme of the knit along and would be a really great prize. So I did post a picture of that in the chat thread for the knit along. So if you want to see what that looks like, be sure to go check that out. I will put a note to remind myself to get it out of the closet so I can show it to you guys on the next episode so you can see what the prize is that you're working toward. I myself do have a project picked out for Q3. I do have yarn picked out. I just need to wind the yarn, put the project in my iPad on Knit Companion, and just cast on and get started. It is a DK weight shawl, although it takes like 3 skeins of DK weight yarn. So hopefully it will go a little bit faster. This quarter ends at the end of September. So since we are mid-August, we're actually exactly at the halfway point for this quarter's knit along. So we've still got some time. If you've been working on a project, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're working on. And if you have finished a project, the FO thread is now there. Please make sure to post so you can be entered into the giveaway. So now that Luke is back in school and I can have my schedule back on my kind of normal work schedule, I plan to be back every other Thursday like before with episodes, getting back into the t-shirt and the shawl at the beginning, hopefully, and doing the what I used to do with the podcast before summer happened. So I'm really excited about getting back into the swing of things. And getting to talk with you guys again. I really have missed you guys. And again, really, it's not just me talking to the camera, talking to you. It really is that discussion that I hear back from you that is really important to me. So please go over to Ravelry and post on the discussion thread for this episode, and/or post actually here on YouTube, post your comments. So that YouTube can see that, hey, there are people who actually watch and who engage with this podcast. That helps me out so much in getting other people to watch the podcast, and I really, really appreciate it when you do that. If you have not yet hit the subscribe button, go ahead and hit subscribe so that way you can get notified whenever I post a new episode. Apparently, you need to subscribe, and there's like a little bell that you also click, or you say, when you subscribe, you say, yes, I want to receive notifications. Some people have said, well, I subscribed, but I don't get notifications. Apparently, you actually have to turn your notifications on. So subscribe plus turn your notifications on, and that way you'll get notified of when I post episodes, because I think that I might record some little mini episodes here and there, especially in the next couple of weeks, or the next, I guess, 10 days with the DFW yarn crawl. I think I'm going to record some of me actually, on the crawl, and I might post those as just like little mini episodes. So that's my plan so far. Sometimes I plan for those things and then completely forget in the moment to shoot video. So hopefully I will remember to shoot video and have those things there. And then I might just have little things kind of in between episodes that I record if I feel like there's something that I want to say. And I don't want to wait until the next episode or something quick. Maybe I'll post some updates on the animals. I will, at the end here, I will show you a little clip of Luna running around in the backyard so you can see how big she has gotten. And then you saw Wally a little bit, and I also had taken some video of the cats earlier. So although you saw Wally already on the episode, I do have a little bit of Wally and Eva as well, and I will add that to the end right after I say goodbye here in just a second. So again, please go either to the discussion thread on Ravelry or post right here on YouTube in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode, and I'm so excited about being back. And until next time, happy knitting! So here is Luna. Tomorrow she will be 5 months old, so she is definitely a lot bigger. Let's see if I can get her to chase the tennis ball. Okay. So she is having a lot of fun out in the backyard playing fetch, and yeah, she's definitely fitting right in. Here's Eva. She definitely, I think, is jealous that Luna gets to go outside. She likes to look out the window quite a bit. There's Wally taking a little bath. There he is.